Hello YouTube and welcome to episodes 4 and 5 in the Nekomonogatari Shiro Reaction series, that being the second season of the Monogatari series. Today's video may be a little bit strange, a little bit weird. There might be a cut in the middle where I'm like wearing different clothes and stuff because it might be over 2 days because work is crazy at the moment, but I digress. As a result of the same kind of phenomenon, the video itself may be a little bit late as well. I'm saying maybe 24 hours. But again, if that happens, I'll let you know. It's time to finish Nekomonogatari Shiro today, so please be excited. Before we jump into the episode proper, we have to have a little look at our comments, and I've written a little bit of a summary here, so we'll just go through it. There wasn't too many this week, so should be okay. Both Simon and Ikipika brought up that I'm probably overanalyzing the Terminator 2 thing, which is, hey, it is what it is. It's mostly in reference to the Meddlesome Cat. The Meddlesome Cat was more of a villain, more of an enemy early in the story, and now has come around a little bit and maybe potentially an ally in the future. There's a change there happening, maybe a little bit. The Meddlesome Cat isn't as pissed off openly, and there may be a little bit more of a fusing of both Hanakawa and the cat, which we've talked about a little bit, how much of there actually a difference, Two sides of the same coin, light and dark, white and black, that whole shebang. There was a little bit of discussion about food with no dressing by Simon and Ikipika as well. Olives probably being a bad example of something that, people don't get attached to, right? But basically my point is that we're conflating not having a taste in anything, a taste in food, a taste in other broader things, through kind of having a bit of a weird family life, right? Family is very important to creating who you are, creating tastes. And I think we're trying to get at that a little bit with that one Senjugahara line about a taste of home. Here's something. From a young age, my family has always eaten licorice. And a lot of people really hate licorice. They think it's disgusting. I love it. Can't get enough of it. Even like the kind of Dutch, like salty stuff. Love that. Give me some of that. Because it's something I've eaten from a young age where other people don't have that taste. You know what I mean? And if Hanakawa doesn't have the taste for anything, it means that it's probably a result of a neglectful household, in my personal opinion. I just wanted to bring up this whole comment by MC Steve, because I thought he had a couple of interesting points, but in a bit of a longer form way. So first he talks a little bit about the kind of moral old story from Nekomonogatari Kuro. Oshino Meme implies through this story that an exclusively virtuous person does not exist, where kindness is just the tip of the iceberg, a counterpart exists. I think this is widely very true. He goes into a little bit of the kind of difference between the pun, or the pun's the wrong word, the difference between the saying in kind of English and in Japanese. So we always say the cat always comes out of the bag once Araragi like kind of pries into why the kind of oddity is taking the form of a cat. The cat always comes out of the bag. We always see that other side eventually. In the Japanese, a more literal translation is something like neko o kaburu or neko ko kaburi, which literally means something like mask as a cat, which, pertains a little bit more to the situation. Hanakawa is literally masking as a cat. Like, it's only a mask, what's underneath is all the same. You know what I mean? So then we have a little look at Nekomonogatari Shiro. And there's the phrasing on the line, white lies of ignorance, which, there's the idea of white, which I'm guessing we'll go into a little bit more later. So white lies, pure lies. What does that entail? Is she lying about how pure she is? Potentially. MC Steve also brings up the kind of shot of Hanakawa 15 minutes into the episode about darkness, kind of looking into the mirror. There's a lot in that kind of from a filmic perspective, looking in a mirror, observing oneself. We could dive into that a little bit for sure. And then finally, at the end of his comment, he kind of talks about the moe pun. So moe with moyashi, which means bean sprout. So potentially we're conflating the word moe with the word bean sprout. And who else in the story is kind of associated with plants and Senjugahara may consider cute? We'll see where that goes. It's very similar to her kind of word thing with tore, which is fascination. So there's that whole bag back in Bakemonogatari as well. The whole, again, Japanese puns that go over us Westerners' heads, but, may contain a little bit of extra meaning for those that want to pay more attention. And I appreciate such comments. Seraph Amoros describes kind of Shizuka from Doraemon, famous for taking baths, and that was the reference there. Again, Shinobu's a bit of a weirdo, like conflating historical figures with anime characters. That's kind of, it's bad taste isn't the word, but it's kind of just weird. It's a bit of a strange thing to do, especially for a 500-year-old vampire. And finally, we go into a little bit more stuff about the perspective changes. So, kind of Dama and Mancia went into Araragi certainly doing something in the background, and nobody has any idea what's going on. And I kind of like that. It's like this meta's the wrong word, but it's this background mystery going on that we have to be paying attention to because some parts of it may come back later. And Gian Bueno really appreciated how we see different sides of the relationships that Araragi doesn't normally deem as important or see. So we knew that Senjogahara and Hanakawa had some kind of connection. We knew that they were getting closer, and now we see how that happens and why that manifests and what they actually do when they're together. Other examples of this that may come back later with perspective changes, I'm guessing, are stuff like Kambaru Karen. We kind of introduced the two, and then Araragi's gone. Again, that wasn't too long ago, so there still could be time for Araragi to observe that as well. Another one would be Nadeko and Tsukihi, a relationship that is implied, but we've never seen these two characters even share a line of dialogue. So, again, we will see how this manifests later in the story. So, because these episodes are less on the plot perspective and more on the kind of analytical character side, motivation side, that kind of thing, it's harder to do a recap. So what happened in those two episodes? Let me think. We get a flashback from Hanakawa at the very start about liking Araragi and what he was like before. Then we wake up late at kind of Senjogahara's house, and then we eat a little bit. Senjogahara makes the meal. It's quite yummy. Through this time, we're also still skipping chapters because the meddlesome cat is on the loose and doing some stuff. An important part here is the similarities between tastes in food and tastes in men between Hanakawa and Senjogahara. We learn later that, yeah, the meddlesome cat is on the loose and doing some stuff. She meets up with the tiger at one point and kind of just talks it out a little bit. The tiger is initially confused, but then says, yeah, I don't care, and then just kind of goes off on its own. The important part here is that the tiger has seen Hanakawa, or Hanakawa has seen the tiger, I should say. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. You know what I mean? To the point where the meddlesome cat jumps way far away and then the tiger is still there. You're always going to be there, lurking in the background. So the meddlesome cat goes back to Senjogahara's house late into the night, where Senjogahara is awake waiting for them. They kind of have a little bit of a making up / handshake deal that happens, which is, the first sign that I've seen that the meddlesome cat can be even reasoned with. I mean, I call it the meddlesome cat, it's Black Hanakawa. I mean, again, it's all sides of the same coin, right? Either way, Hanakawa wakes up in the morning, no memory of what has happened. Senjogahara is tired, but she goes for a run. In the meantime, Hanakawa is going to make a meal. Once she makes the meal, it is unbuttered, nothing on the bread, there's nothing on the eggs and bacon, there's no dressing on the salad, and we get into that little discussion about having kind of flavoring on food. And, Hanakawa doesn't care about the flavoring, it's just food. She just eats it. We talk about these robotic vibes of Hanakawa. She's just kind of attaining sustenance. She's not doing it for the joy of it, right? She's feeling a need. And then, because we conflated kind of food and men before with Senjogahara then pries into, hey, do you really love Araragi, or is he just sustenance? So we'll dive into that a little bit more maybe later on. So we jump in episode 4, kind of jumping off where we were just then, and Senjogahara talks about real and fake as it pertains to Araragi and Hanakawa. Araragi is a fake, we've been through this, but Hanakawa is the real thing, and the real thing's kind of scary and really weird and isn't sustainable. So again, those are the lessons we're taking out of that, I think. So then the big idea becomes, and this was kind of in episode 3 as well, that Senjogahara needs to, her dad needs to come back and live in their house, and that's a little bit weird if Hanakawa's staying over. So we need a place for Hanakawa to stay. She kind of hits up the Fire Sisters and says, hey, do you want to take in Hanakawa? And kind of guilts Karen into it, which is good. So now we get some Hanakawa with the sisters, and that's always very fun. During this time, she's kind of just thinking through some stuff as well about what Senjogahara said before. She's also sleeping in Araragi's bed, which kind of freaks her out a little bit. Doesn't get to sleep till late. And then Shinobu pops out of the frickin' wall, and it's like, what? Why is she not part of Araragi? Isn't that the whole deal? And apparently that's been severed. Then they get into a little bit of a discussion, kind of end on mutual good terms, and you know, Shinobu wants to get to where Araragi is. Hanakawa knows and kind of takes Shinobu there. And when we get there, it's all burned down. It's bad. We also attained that knowledge through Kambaru earlier, which I forgot to mention. I guess that naturally jumps off into the predictions. We are going to see the immediate reaction of Shinobu and Black Hanakawa to the fire, with potentially Senjo ramping up the worrying about Araragi now that there's been another fire where he was supposedly around. Again, this could be the tiger involved in the fires, which I've implied. We talk more about this kind of tiger versus cat dynamic and how they're similar and different, and why the fires are occurring and where they're occurring and why they're, you know, happening to Hanakawa. We maybe check in with the sisters one more time, get their perspective on a few of the other things with Hanakawa, and maybe a greater tease as to what Araragi's actually doing. Again, we don't know, but that's interesting as well. Either way, just my shield stuff before we jump into episode 3. If you like the video, consider liking the video. If you like the video and want to see more, consider subscribing to the channel. Comment below anything you thought about the episode, anything I can do to improve my presentation, comment below. I'm doing follow for follow on Twitter, so follow me on Twitter if you'd like me to follow you back. Join the Discord, love the Discord. Discord for schedule and a bunch of other stuff, so please be excited. And yeah, just one more time I'll mention it. I'll probably should mention it from the top again, maybe in a bit of text or something now that I haven't said it. But yeah, between kind of Christmas and New Year's, not going to be making videos, besides one really, but that video will be made before. Just yeah, spending time with family. Going to be away from the computer, so sadly cannot make videos. So yeah, just a week off there, and apologies for any inconvenience. Rightio, just going to jump into episode 4 of Nekomonogatari Shiro right now. Rightio, got episode 4 up here ready to go. There's a bit of a very white screen, so it might be really blown out, but anyway. Let me pop that up on screen, and we got a time code of 24 minutes and 59 seconds, so sync up accordingly. It says 52 on screen, which is quite confusing. Is this chapter 52? Did we skip, like, a lot of chapters? Anyway, I digress. As always, I'm using the Call Girls subs, and yeah, there'll be a picture-in-picture version down below. So please be excited there as well. And yeah, we're just going to give it a 3, 2, 1. Rightio. 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah, what could have happened? Chapter 52? Yeah, doubled in one evening. Yeah, okay. We skipped 25 chapters. Okay. What? Okay, what happened in that evening? I smell dirt. Yeah, you did. I didn't need to know the size of her feet, but sure. Yeah, bit of dirt. She talking to herself? Oh, the hair. Oh, our little detective. Okay. Good that she figured that out. Yeah. Okay, opening. Good, I thought I was insane. I'm like, I'm pretty sure we went up to chapter 52. That's funny. Yeah, cool. Okay, so we're still kind of playing with the very conceit of a televisual product. It's like, hey, we're just going to skip a bunch of stuff. There's stuff here. We're going to look at it later. I wonder if it'll be very literally in the story where we're like going back and it's going to be like, oh yeah, here's chapter like 26 or something, right? I wonder. Or maybe we just skip. I mean, we don't need to see it. Things can be implied. Like, things were implied from chapters 8 and 14, or 8 and 13, whatever we skipped, that we didn't need to see proper. Okay. I thought I didn't record there for a second. I'm very happy I'm recording. You always got to check, though. And there's Angel, our little Angel. Nothing wrong with her. Tsubasa Tiger, Part 4. Oh, interesting shot. Oh, because you had ears last time. Yeah. That's good. Well, good's a strong word. Yeah. But I guess you're still being like a weirdo. Who acknowledges their stress like that? Yeah. Is that a rule? Aragi's missed it like 5 days in a row then. Yeah, but it would be really nice for you. Yeah, you get waken up by a damn Roomba. Meow? Okay. Oh. Hello? Hey yo! Revelatory moment? Okay. Okay. Alright, there's some stuff going on here too. Oh, the eyes. This is insane. I didn't think that these would be in the show. I'm assuming this is Aragi's mum. And of course, you have the hair. Oh, well, that's a big lie. Oh, big shaft head tilt. Very intense voice. The direction of this scene's very interesting. Okay, thank you. But also, you're weird. Averting eyes. That's what I wanted to talk about. Oh, hello? Are you who I think you are? Yeah. Hello, episode? Right? Yeah. Well, I mean, you did. What a weird reaction from Hanakawa. This episode's nuts. What the hell? Episode-san. Just call him episode. I always thought this guy seemed like more of a character. Okay. Hello? Okay, you're still like a bit of a weirdo, but sure. This episode's nuts. What the hell? What do you mean? Maybe after the tiger? Again, this would again, imagine not seeing Kizu at this point. Okay, so wait, does this have something to do with Araragi? Really normal. I mean, you may be kind of different. Black Kanakawa. It's gone without a trace. That's good, right? Okay. Oh. Oh, hello, Kaganui, right? Oh, wait, who? Kaiki? What is happening? Who is this? Oh. Gaien Izuko. Okay. Wait, I think haven't I heard the name Gaien before? Oh god, the lighting too. Yotsugi. Yeah, I know Yotsugi. Okay, so Kaganui might be involved as well, at least tangentially. Is this the other person in their little group? The four people? You seem cool. I really like her design. The hat sells it. There's nothing I don't know. Oh, Mega Hanakawa. Yeah. Oh shit. In this story. History Tiger? Hysteria Tiger? It's your problem. What? Okay, again, I'm not Japanese. Oh, you'd rather have big boobs? She's almost villainous. That's okay. That's good. Oh, again, okay, she knows she likes that. Okay. It's one part of you knew that though. It's a tiger issue. Oh, wait, because the 25 chapters. Okay. Okay. I'm trying to keep an eye on the chapters too. New title. Weird. So much text. Holy God. It's a new kind of aberration. Okay, whatever you say. Oh, yeah! Now I remember. Very interesting. I knew there was a guy in. Yeah, okay. Yeah. What? Okay. How so? But there kind of is. Look at all the cranes. Don't you make 1,000 cranes to help somebody, right? Or to pray for somebody? Oh shit. Yeah, that's bad. Yeah, okay. I didn't think about it like that. We need to solve this like soon. Otherwise Senjugahara's house is going to burn down. Kono Monogatari. Lots of different places. You love hanging out in the park. Debauch. Okay. What are we going to do? Oh, cards. Okay. Let's just go play cards. Sure. Oh, God. Yeah, another very interesting shot. Yeah, exactly. The Fire Sisters. Okay. Very standard answers. The Fire Flame Sisters. And then her tower falls down. Very good. It can be both. Okay. Thank you. Oh. Okay. Fire with love? Yeah, I mean, you do. Literally to Araragi. Oh, the revelations. And if it was May. No, it wasn't about Senjo. He didn't know Senjo yet. Yep, fire is a versatile metaphor. Her tower keeps falling. Very good. Exactly. It can be both. Yeah. Rozokuzawa. Yeah, why would Araragi talk about that? Okay. The nerve. There you go, your tower's about to be completed. Yeah. Really? Jealousy and fire? The fires of jealousy? Okay, yeah. Oh yeah, averting eyes. Is that why the fire's occurring? Jealous of a lot of different things, I'm guessing. Yeah. Exactly. That's the weird part that I wanted to talk about as well. Excuse me. Why wouldn't you be able to see Arorogi again? Oh, yeah. Okay, bit weird, but sure. Let's spread my stank out on the bed. Is that a cat thing? That sounds like a cat thing. Okay, we're getting naked because it's a Monogatari episode. Yep. Mm-hmm. Oh no, okay. She wearing Araragi's clothes? No, he's not. He's not. She's not. Where's she going? Okay, so you're writing a letter to the other side of you? This feels like the end, which is a bit weird. Okay, so you wrote a letter, and then a bit of a unique ED to finish. That episode felt like it was almost like Symphogear pace, which, for those that don't know, is very quick. Lots and lots of concepts to talk about, lots and lots of different scenes that are very interesting, lots of connections, characters that I didn't expect to see, connections that we can talk about to other characters that aren't in the episode. I was like, is she putting on Aragi's clothes? And then I'm like, no, they fit her. That's like weird. I don't know why he would have like mom jeans. But I digress. I've hardly ever seen Hanakawa without like a skirt on. It's kind of her bag, so the pants are a little bit different. But that episode was really good. It's quite engaging, I would say. Riseto. Oh yeah, and then we're not doing this, right? Rightio, time to jump into a little bit of analysis on Nekomonogatari Shiro Episode 4. So, that episode seemed chock full of concepts, right? Lots and lots of concepts being brought up that I really, really want to rewatch it right now to see a lot of what the text said that kind of skipped past as well, but mostly just to kind of think about it in summary, right? There's kind of this motif around averting eyes, and I wanted to talk about that a little bit. So, okay, we got introduced to essentially two new characters, one of which being fucking Araragi's freaking mom, which is something that I've been predicting for ages, or at least, I don't know, predicting's the wrong word. Talking about the concept of, I guess. And yeah, she's finally here. We could probably pause and get a general idea of her design. She seemingly has the hair thingy, which is cool. And she seems a bit outwardly kind of aggressive to outsiders, I guess. So we'll see where that goes. The other one is Gaian. Gaian Izuko, I think her name was. Now I know what Gaian is and what happened before, right? Okay, so Kaiki shows up. The first time we see Kaiki, he's like, I'm looking for the Gaian child. And Gaian is Kambaru's family name. So Kambaru and Izuko, or Gaian, I don't know what we're calling her yet, intrinsically linked somehow. And Kaiki also has an association with the name in that I'm guessing, okay, so back in, what was it, Nisemonogatari, back towards the very end, when we're talking with Kaganui, it's implied that there's four different people, right? And so, Meme, Kaiki, Kaganui, and what I'm guessing now is Gaian Izuko, right? The senpai that they kind of talked about that got them into it. So, we've got Gaian Izuko, who has that connection to Kaiki, sending Kaiki out, or Kaiki sending himself out to go find this Gaian child. That's very interesting. So we'll probably circle back to that when we do a little bit more Kambaru stuff. But she seemingly, or her family seemingly, has history in this. And then we think about that back to the mother with the monkey's paw situation, right? Oh shit. Like there's lots of shit going on. Holy fuck. And then we talk back to the connection between Gaian Izuko and Hanakawa. She says this line, I know everything. It's not I don't know everything. I know everything, right? Omnipotent, right? Knows all, knows the right answer, will always pursue it, or at least thinks she does, right? How can we talk about this in contrast with our whole thing about, like, okay, so we had the Goldilocks whole real fake discussion, right? Inherently good, inherently bad. Where does that fall on the spectrum? Kind of this all-knowing person. God, there's lots of shit to talk about this episode. I may even be missing stuff, but I have to get a start here. So here's the episode, and yeah, we're also skipping 20-something chapters. This show's kind of crazy. This was an insane episode. Not to mention the kind of insane directorial chops there, and the art in that Gaian scene was incredible. The color design, incredible. Yeah, this show's really good. And yeah, I guess I'm just going to go through this episode another time and see what I can see. So yeah, I don't know what chapter we were at before, but yeah, we skipped a bunch. To the point where Hanakawa, kind of in a meta fourth wall sense, is even explaining how this is weird to the reader/watcher. So we're going to ignore the part where she tells us the proportions of her feet, and says that they're quite beautiful. I'm sure there's a certain subset of the audience that thinks that's really awesome. It isn't me. Either way, she smells kind of dirt on herself, looks under the fingernails. Hey, I was maybe sleepwalking last night. That's a little bit weird. That's a little bit suspect. So she gets her detective on, sees some kind of dirty tissues, I'm guessing, in the bin. There's a lot of tissues in that bin, Araragi. What you been doing, big dog? Anyway, stuff is slightly moved around the room. Again, dirt under the fingernails, and the all-important white hair on the bed. And that's when we get our largest clue as to what's actually happening. Cool, so we have the Hanakawa right now figuring out that the metal cat is on the loose again. But it's different this time, as we've explained. She can freely, or not freely, but turn back, right? So the first time it was, I can't change back at all. I'm the metal cat constantly, except for that one scene where Araragi was in trouble and she came back, but I digress. Then we get the kind of Tsubasa cat one where she's the meddlesome cat and she just has cat ears during the daytime, right? And she has to hide them with a hat, and it's all very cute. And this time we're going a step further, we can even hide the cat ears, right? So it's clearly becoming more and more natural for her. There's less of a, pushback. It's coming integrated. I wanted to also talk about kind of the episodic connection, right? So we're starting the episode talking about, hey, I'm turning into the meddlesome cat. That's a little bit weird. And we're in Araragi's bedroom. Towards the end of the episode, we're writing a letter to the meddlesome cat, or to Black Hanakawa, in Araragi's bedroom. And I think that's important. Again, I've talked a lot about it. This episode was satisfying on viewing on its own. It doesn't just feel like a piece of a larger narrative. I can watch this week. So say I'm watching this as it came out, I would be satisfied watching just this episode. I think that's important. It super works for today because I'm going to need to record the next episode tomorrow. So it's good that I feel satisfied today. I'm not left on a massive cliffhanger. As I talked about before, no ears, which is good for Hanakawa. She can freely be out and about and go to school and all those other things. Hanakawa here is, again, almost kind of robotically matter of fact about the whole situation, right? She's like, oh, I can imagine the reason why I'm turning into Black Hanakawa. I must be under a lot of stress. And recognizing that you're under stress is generally not something that people do. They just are stressed. And then once somebody says you're clearly stressed, then they're like, okay, I'm probably stressed. I need to take it easy for a little bit. Recognizing the feeling that you're under stress and then not taking steps to undo it is strange. But we've been through how Hanakawa is kind of terrifying. Here we see Tsukihi calling Hanakawa to breakfast. And Hanakawa kind of likes this. There's a little smile here, right? Yeah, right there. After she gets asked down for breakfast, she's like, oh yeah, this is nice, right? Araragi-kun talks of his sisters waking him up every morning as if it were a nuisance. But of course, Hanakawa gets woken up by a frickin' Roomba. Of course she would find this charming and, kind of homely. And then this gets challenged later on when we meet a certain character. The way Araragi explains it, one would be led to believe he's getting assaulted in his sleep with a crowbar. Oh yeah, she's also wearing contact lenses. I don't know if we've talked about that yet as well. And here we are. Here's a very important scene and a meeting of a character that has been, again, foreshadowed is the wrong word, but implied to exist, and now we get some actual vision. I wanted to talk about this from a whole Araragi perspective, Hanakawa perspective discussion. Why is it that despite living in the same house, Araragi has never once acknowledged his mother and her presence, or seen her, right? She's obviously there, right? She's going to work right now. She's clearly in like a suit or something, right? I don't know what you would call it. Like office attire. Apparently they're cops. Again, I don't know. But the first time that we see, or one of the first times we see Hanakawa waking up in the Araragi household, she is sighted. I think this is important. But again, is she sighted? We're going to talk about averting eyes and direction. Either way, she says, I'm heading out, and, expects a response. Something like she was part of the family. I think she may say this when she's leaving her own house as well. To the Roomba, maybe. I don't know who she's talking to. And we see a woman that is very cold, right? Very, very, very cold. Calculating. Matter of fact. I don't know about your household circumstances, and for now, I don't plan on asking. But don't consider being apart from your parents and saying I'm heading out now from our house as normal. Kind of, you have your family, we have ours. don't kind of use such familiar language, right? We can entertain you as our guest, but we can't become your family. You have to do that yourself, kind of, right? But again, who would want to be associated with like an abusive father and like an unloving house and all these other things that we know about Hanakawa? Again, it sucks for Hanakawa that she's being kind of pushed out like this. But if we know one thing about the Araragi household, family is paramount, as we learned through Nekomonogatari. So there's no eyes, no eyes, no eyes, and then just like one frame right here. First time that she looks her in the eyes, and then she says, "Oh, it's no trouble." Like, I think we assumed that the eyes would be a lot more mean, but they're more matter of fact, right? Starts to thank Hanakawa a little bit. You put him on to studying, that's good. And then we get a first look at her hair, I'm assuming, because this isn't anybody else's hair in the scene. And yes, she got the trademark. Again, I don't know what you call the hair thing, but the hair thing, the trademark hair thing, again, takes her hand off the door handle and kind of turns it back on, right? My family circumstances aren't that big a deal. But they are. They really are. They're really bad. But again, you're perfect little Hanakawa. You don't want to tell people that. The mere fact that there's a falling out between a parent and a child sounds like child abuse when kind of Hanakawa brings up the concept of, there being a bit of a falling out. But you're not even visible to Araragi, right? Weird. What has happened here? The big head tilt. Big head tilt. And yeah, we can kind of see in the shadow there a little bit of her eye. Very serious design. I really like her hair, actually. Here's another really good look at her as well. Long neck, but I'm sure that's just for effect. It's weird, the way we're framing her kind of in this scene a little bit is unloving, cold, calculating, a little bit of a threatening presence, especially with the shadow. But I'm wondering how this will change when other characters see her in less of a kind of confrontatory, I'm confronting somebody way. Confronting way? I guess. People can run from things they don't like all they want, but if they're just averting their eyes, they're not running. Averting eyes, obscuring vision, pretending something doesn't exist to make yourself feel better. Can we talk about that to Black Hanakawa? And that she's not averting her eyes anymore when she actually confronts Black Hanakawa a little bit about, hey, this actually might just be part of me. Towards the end of the episode. Maybe. What else do you avert your eyes from? Maybe the sun. Maybe something bright in the sky, which is another character we'll talk about later. As long as you think the current situation's okay, no one can help you. For starters, I think that's about where you need to head out from. Okay. Again, asking for help, are we talking to that a little bit? Just averting your eyes isn't running away, huh? Those are connotative words. Words with connotation. Okay, is that like to me, the reader, the listener, the watcher? The viewer. Kind of these words are important. Don't forget them. They have connotations. And then we get one of the most random scenes in the show so far. The kind of reintroduction of a character that I haven't seen for yonks, for fucking ages. First, I want to talk about the kind of visuals of this scene before we bring in a certain character that warps them a little bit, which is fun. So this staircase in the back is kind of nuts. I love our colors up the top. Again, we live in this kind of city that's all art installations, right? Kind of the streetlights are curved in a weird way as well, but it's still kind of under construction as... Yeah, it's weird. I don't know where they are. It's weird. It reminds me of the playground a lot, though. I came face to face with a scene that made me want to avert my eyes. And I don't think it's this character we're talking about. I think it's the character that's introduced after, that is right directly in the sunlight. But yeah, we get this little look here, and I'm like, oh shit, I know who that is. Why are you back? Initially, I thought it was like a dream sequence, but nope. Again, I forgot in Kizumonogatari. For some reason, I thought he was dead, but nah, Araragi just beat him up real bad. He wanted to kill him, but didn't. Now I remember. Went back to save Hanakawa. But yeah, this is episode. If people haven't seen Kizumonogatari, fuck you, I guess. This is a character from something that you haven't seen. That's very funny. But again, if you're paying attention, this would be cool in a very different way if you saw it in kind of chronological order. I don't know what we're calling it. The order in which the anime came out. You'd be like, oh shit, when episode showed up in Kizu, you'd be like, I remember that guy. So again, we're talking about Hanakawa being a fucking weirdo, right? Because this person literally killed her. He killed her. And what are we going to do? We're going to give him a friendly greeting. Yeah. Hello, it's been a while, episode son. A bow. A bow. What are we doing? Come on. Oh, even this shot here. Look how bright the kind of left side of the frame is. Just kind of looking down as well. Again, formal language, episode son. Right? Why are you showing such respect to somebody that killed you? So, episode, again, I always thought he would maybe be a character just from his mannerisms, right? He seems like an anime character that you could use. You know what I mean? So, he's very brash, bit bratty, and later we learned that he's actually 6 years old, which is, again, quite strange. Looks like killing me is something he at least considers a debt. So he feels kind of indebted to Hanakawa in that, oh, I'm sorry for killing you, so I will tell you why I'm here. He kind of took the red eye bus in, which is very funny too, for like for a kind of a supernatural hunter essentially. And he's just a freelancer. He always was, not like dramaturgy or guillotine cutter. Okay, so you weren't kind of part of their whole gang. You were just along for the ride because you got paid. Interesting. So he got given this case, he doesn't know what it's about. They paid up front, but also I had reasons why I had to accept. Are you indebted to Guyan or something? Maybe. Again, this stinks of Araragi. They're in town for whatever Araragi's doing. Again, it's been described as this is worse than spring break, and it's happening in the frickin' background. Like, what? I'm a hunter specializing in vampires. So tigers and stuff are kinda so yeah, not after the tiger, it's not about you, Hanakawa, it's about vampires. Last time I got a dreadful feeling from you, Hanakawa. You seem normal now, right? This dreadful feeling, it's seemingly gone. Huh. This dreadful feeling was cut off from you, not gone without a trace, more like, again, cut off. I got what he was trying to say, but hold it right there. His train of thought won't lead to anything good. What are we talking about here? I've no clue. Something got cut off from her between Kizu and now. Again, the only thing I can think about is the cat, right? Something cut off. That's not what I would call it. I thought you would have something added on. Again, I'm unclear. And this is the line I misread initially, right? It's her, the person that called me here without telling me why. Well, when I heard she was an upperclassman to that Hawaiian shirt Oshino Meme guy in college, I had to accept this case because of my relationship with that guy. My relationship with Oshino Meme? Huh? Didn't you two try to kill each other? Or not try to kill each other, I think Oshino Meme was just protecting Araragi. But huh? And there we are. This is the visual I wanted to stop on. And this is kind of our color scheme in the back of a lot of where this character is talking. Again, avert your eyes. This is like almost like kaleidoscopic, right? Looking into the sky like this, right? So if Hanakawa's in the darkness, trying to avert her eyes from the light, and then we see somebody full of color. Either way, hey Sode. So we're not calling him episode, we're a little bit closer than that. That girl there is Hanakawa Tsubasa. And yeah, we get a first little look at her character design. Okay. Huh. Interesting. So we got the beads. I think Oshino Meme wears prayer beads as well now that I'm thinking about it. We've got headphones and a cap and kind of a weird, I guess you would call it almost a poncho, right? Or at least I don't know, like a I'm no fashionista. One of the shirts that cuts off here and it's very baggy. And also like a Mario necklace because it's got a star on it. Baggy clothes, headphones, hat. Seemingly very casual. Again, much like Oshino Meme. Can we compare this to somebody like Kaiki, who's always wearing a suit? This is probably the best shot to describe what I was talking about. Look how kind of grossly incandescent she is. Jesus. And the whole thing, right? She's very close immediately. She called Hanakawa Tsubasa-chan just there, and calls episode Sode. I'm Meme's senpai, a human named Gaian Izuko. He called me Gaian senpai. To my knowledge, he has never talked about you, but I could be wrong. The first time I heard Gaian was again with Kaiki, but I think we talk about that a little bit later with Senjogahara. We get a first look at her face, seemingly quite young. Almost shares some features with maybe a Hanakawa. Again, bright eyes, smiling, kind of this very curvy hair, a very straight edge. Again, compare this character design to maybe Araragi's mom that we saw in the start of the episode, who was shrouded in darkness, in shadow, and again, a lot of the features were very straight. I made note of the neck in particular. I love doing this kind of stuff. I did it with Kaganui as well, and I found it fascinating. Character design is hugely important. I'm wondering how much of this is Shaft, how much of this is Nisio Isin. But yeah, they've done a great job here. This it's a cool looking character. I want to learn more. So episodes like I wasn't hitting, I was just relishing some memories. Then Izuko's like, well, every second counts. We need to do something right now. Yotsugi will follow us, but we can't wait. Again, I'm assuming this has something to do with Araragi. We've got like a team together. Izuko, Yotsugi, again associated with Kaganui, and then episode. Very, 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 very interesting. And again, this frame is gorgeous. I love almost like a light spiral in the top corner there. All this intrigue about Araragi in the background. Love it. Love talking about it. To tell the truth, I'd rather that Meme or Deshu were here. I'd rather Kaiki and Meme be here, but I have you guys instead. I have Episode and Yotsugi. So, kind of the B team in a way. But they're very much vagabonds. As for Yozuru, which is Kaganui, right? I don't want her here at all. What is happening? I don't understand. So sorry, we got to run, Hanakawa. I would have bought you a juice or something. I was talking down to her from her little pedestal. And just casually drops it. I can't help you with the tiger problem you're carrying around right now. Like, what? What? How do you know that? And there it is. Kind of Hanakawa questions it. How do you know that? Oh, that inquisitive look? I just know. There's nothing I don't know. Again, on a pedestal talking down to Hanakawa. As if she had total control of everything in this story. So again, are we talking a little bit more to Monogatari's higher implications about meta storytelling fourth wall stuff? Like she is aware that it's a story and knows all the ins and outs. But again, if that's the case, then is that again, we're talking reals and fakes, right? If she knows everything that's going to happen and when it happens, right? There's no drama there. You know what I mean? It's not as interesting as being a fake. Again, this could be complete bullshit, doesn't make any sense garbage, but she's a very, very, very intriguing character. Almost like an author substitute in a kind of way, right? If you know everything, doesn't that make you broken as well? Like in the whole fiction of the universe, can't you fix everything as well? I don't know. It's the history tiger or the hysteria tiger, and I think there's a small little kanji trick there. Yeah, again, almost like an author. Nobody can help you with that. Nobody can rescue you. Like, how do you know this? This is the first time we've met. How do you know this? It's a problem you yourself have. Nobody else can see it but you. Have you been averting your eyes from said issue? Maybe. That's not my problem, and it's not the problem of the boy you're in love with as well. Again, like she's read the fucking book up to this point. You have to solve it. You can't rely on Araragi to jump in and solve this problem. He's got his own shit going on. Again, it's you. It's always been you. You have to fix it. You really don't know anything, Tsubasa-chan. You don't even know that you don't know anything. It's not wisdom to realize one's ignorance. It's ignorance. And yeah, this word muchi, and muchi may be like naughty or something. The word for a voluptuous body. Could somebody explain that? Like a word that maybe sounds like voluptuous body associated with Hanakawa, associated with ignorance? Weird. Who is this guy Nisio Isin? Is he like an English major or again like a language major? He's studied his own language so much that he's able to make these connections, and he's fascinated by words. There's nothing worse than the truth you're an idiot, like the lament of a scarecrow without a brain. What? Like Wizard of Oz? Yeah, I guess. So like a scarecrow, again, you're like stuck in one spot doing a certain job, but you're aware that you don't know stuff. Sounds like Hanakawa, right? Again, I know everything. Character framing is so important. I've talked about it a couple of times. Look, she was on this middle step, right? And she's gone to an even higher step now and is still further talking down to Hanakawa. This is almost like biblical, right? It's almost like God is talking, you know? Awesome scene. I'm loving this. So don't take any shame in not knowing everything. You're just like other humans. Humans who use every trick in the book. You're no exception. You're not special. But again, this talks to Hanakawa just wants normal. That's been her whole thing. But then there's a very important line right here at the end as well. And here it is in plain text, as if she were looking down on me. But she also says, you like when people say that. You like when people say you're not exceptional. That's why you say I don't know everything, I just know what I know. Yeah. Not quite averting eyes here, but again, like this, like she's upset. I don't know. Fascinating scene. Deeply, deeply fascinating. She knows everything, or seemingly does, about all the characters at all times. She even lets Hanakawa know that the cram school burned down, which is something that she wasn't aware of, but maybe another side of her was. Strange character, that guy Nezuko. Really, really, really strange. Almost teasing Hanakawa towards the end. That fire has nothing to do with Araragi or, anybody else, or Senjo, or Izuku Guyan. I know who it has to do with. It has to do with me. Again, we're talking to the 20-something chapters we skipped there. I wonder what happened there. It's also her own problem in the most literal sense, as we discover soon, in that it's the locations that she sleeps in that are seemingly being targeted. Her homes for the night. Apparently it's the History Tiger, or the Hysteria Tiger. Again, there's some kanji nonsense going on there. But she can't find any knowledge of it in any older books, right? Despite its name, the History Tiger. But there's a new title that may have some information on it, in that it may be a new aberration similar to Black Hanakawa, right? One that hasn't really existed before and is only knowledgeable to Hanakawa. New release, new variety. I may have realized something, but that's wrong to say because Guyan said it right from the start. That would be that this is an aberration I'd name personally. Yeah, what if the tiger is a new type of aberration just like Black Hanakawa? The hysteria of tyrants causes more harm than tigers. Is this a saying? Again, something in Japanese. I'd think it's a tiger that's worse than tyrants, a tiger that surpasses all tigers in history, a tiger that is the most worst person to ever exist, even worse than these famous tyrants. So a tiger that surpasses that old saying, perhaps. And yeah, gets on the phone to Senjugahara. Senjugahara's at home right now. Hopefully her house doesn't burn down. It seems like it would burn down very easily from the look of it. But Hanakawa is notably in the park, her kind of favorite little spot to sit and think things through. Think back to Bakemonogatari. She came to the park during Mayoi Snail. She came to the park during Tsubasa Cat. Senjugahara says it seems like you're being guided by Guyan. It's not you that named it. No matter how I think about it, she did. You know? Like an author? Right? Maybe? Again, I might be trying too hard here. By the way, I think she's related to Kambaru, and that's when I got the connection, right? That's the Kambaru family kind of old name on the mother's side, I think. Yeah, her mother's maiden name is Guyan. Kambaru herself said she used to be Guyan Suruga. It wasn't Kambaru. Again, this is something that Senjugahara would know, considering the close relationship between the two. And then it all clicks, and then all the Kaiki stuff clicks, and yeah, it's like a the last piece in a puzzle just being put into place. Except it probably isn't the last piece; it's the 42nd to last piece. Amazing moment. This is like my brain exploded. It was great. Here we're getting a little bit weird. I'm not quite sure I get it. So if Guyan called it the History Tiger, right, which is something that she called it, not that something that Hanakawa knew it was called, I would associate it with the past. And in the background here, we see a bunch of paper cranes. Again, what's the whole thing, paper cranes? Excuse me a moment. The formidable characteristics that give the cranes such a special meaning, and why the Japanese believe that anyone with the patience and commitment to fold 1,000 origami cranes would be given good fortune and granted a wish. One of the most popular reasons for people folding 1,000 paper cranes is to show their support for a loved one suffering from a serious illness. It's a senbazuru. So, we could take that in a number of different directions. Is there somebody ill in her life that maybe needs to be cured? I don't know what the go is with the mother, but maybe that. Or it could be for, pray for good fortune for Araragi. Things may be serious and she knows that they're serious. Again, we're getting into our kanji weeds a little bit. So fire and tiger are being used to write something. Something about history and hysteria into fire and tiger. Not quite sure I understand. And then Senjukahara brings up the very important point. It's very pertinent that, hey, you slept in your house, and then the house burned down. Then you slept at the cram school. Then the cram school burned down. And then you slept at my place. So, is my house going to burn down? Please say my house isn't going to burn down. So after hearing about that the fires may, burn down some places, she has a determined look in her eye. She's going to try to fix this, but not before she gets kind of distracted by Karen. So even though she got kind of reprimanded at the start of the day for saying, kind of, I'm on my way, I'm leaving, bye, have a good day, she still returns and says kind of the other side to that phrase, when you return. It seems that Araragi, even if he comes back safely, has a predicament to overcome afterwards. So when he returns home, Kambara is going to beat him up for being a debaucher. The other part to it, right? Okay, so he may have multiple problems. So I'm guessing that Karen is upset and Tsukihi will be upset. But will his mother be upset that he's been away this long, right? She would have to be. Maybe that contributed to her mood in the morning as well. I don't know. So Karen and Tsukihi want to play cards with Tsubasa, and yeah, she doesn't really want to play with them. She has other things on her mind, but she gets dragged in anyway. They get to talking about the word fire very quickly, I might add. And yeah, we're talking to a lot of different things that, again, fire is a versatile metaphor. They go through passion, they go through kind of anger, and they go through envy. Envy is very important right there at the end. So fire is associated with passion, and flame is associated with the word justice. So Tsukihi here kind of trolls Karen. Karen's like, we're called the Fire Sisters because we're awesome and passionate purveyors of justice. And then she's like, nah, it's mostly just because the kanji for fire is in both of our names. As the card tower for Karen falls down and Tsukihi continues to build her elaborate one. And then we get to talking about love. I would associate fire and flame with love as well. Tsukihi's like, we don't just, do justice stuff, we also give advice on love, right? You do? Yeah, I remember one specific instance where Tsukihi did that, and we talked to that instance. Come to think of it, there was something like that around May. So we're talking to our timeline, right? Does that even make sense? Would that have been May, Nekomonogatari? When is Golden Week? Excuse me. From the 29th of April to early May. Okay, I see. So yeah, that checks out, and it wouldn't have been the time where we had met Senjukahara yet, and that seems like something that Hanakawa would have picked up on. So if they're giving Araragi love advice before he even met Senjo, I don't know why she doesn't make the connection. Maybe she does. Yeah, she's like, advice about Senjo. It ain't Senjo, it was about you. Why does this feel so unnatural? Because it is. He was talking about you. Fire has an angry feeling to it, kind of what Karen was talking to about justice. Her justice is anger. Yeah, that is definitely Karen, and as she screams, her tower falls as well. Anger is a flame and therefore justice. In any case, passionate feelings is the mutual understanding for me and Karen. So I think what they're getting at here is passionate feelings aren't always justice, but justice is always a passionate feeling. Okay. They get to talk about their boyfriends. Hanakawa is, a bit shocked at the fact that they even have boyfriends. Like, why didn't Araragi tell me? It's like, oh yeah, those two don't exist inside his head. Again, nice fourth wall joke, gave me a chuckle. And yeah, apparently they're just like Araragi. Ha 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 ha. Great. So yeah, Araragi refuses to meet them, yet has the nerve to introduce the sisters to Senjukahara. It's kind of like he doesn't want to give the sisters away in a way, right? It boils down to him feeling like his cute little sisters are being taken away from him, as she kind of completes her card tower here. He's so envious of those two, he's just being jealous. And just as she's about to place the last cards, jealousy. Everything seems to stop. She has a revelatory moment. There's nothing else in the scene. The scene goes black and white, except for the cards. There's another keyword associated with fire that might be the first one that comes to mind. Put another way, the fact they don't exist in Araragi's kun mind means he's averting his eyes from the truth. Again, we're linking in this averting eyes. Are you averting your eyes away from the truth that you're just jealous? Jealous of Senjo? Jealous of the lovely different families that you've been associating with over the past few days, right? The loving households. Is that the thing you've been averting your eyes from? Your jealousy of these places, and that maybe this jealousy is being taken by the tiger and burning things down? Again, I don't know, just guessing, but that seems to make sense to me. On that one point, me and Araragi are the same. We're averting our eyes, turning away from reality, away from our jealousy, away from that fire. It's one of the strongest feelings humans have, and at the top of all of these towers, the tower of cards that they've made is the feeling of envy. And yet, her tower comes crumbling down, just as she places the final two cards, or attempts to. Cutting away my memory, cutting away my heart, it's easy to grasp when I think about my conversation with Episode Kun this morning. I was cutting myself away from how I really felt. I was chatting with somebody who tried to kill me. I might not be able to see Araragi-kun again. Is this in reference to what he's doing right now might be dangerous, or is it more in reference to I'm going to go somewhere? That's kind of the vibes I got at the end of this kind of episode, right? That she's leaving. Either way, I'm not going to be able to see Araragi again. I'm going to like spread my scent on his bed, which is a little bit peculiar, but sure. Again, does it talk to her whole jealousy thing, right? Maybe he'll think of me if I do this. Oh no, I should hurry. I spent too long rolling about. That's enough for me. What are we doing here? Yeah, she changes her clothes, takes like some pictures, visual confirmation that I was in his room, but then deletes it. Oh, she's trying to take the perfect picture. I see. Okay. Visual confirmation that I was in your room, sleeping in your bed, and then sends that through to Araragi. This may not be entirely necessary, it might be pointless. I don't have memories of being Black Kanakawa, but Black Kanakawa should have memories of me. Either way, what she's doing here is writing her a letter to herself in a way. A bright light that she's looking directly at, no longer averting her eyes away from what she really feels. I want to share feelings with the girl who is me, but separate from me. To her who took all my dark parts, my black parts, and carried them for me on her back. All of my burdens, all of my stress. I want to show my appreciation and relate to her one last wish. Why does this seem so finalistic? Again, it's quite strange. And then, yeah, we're at the end. We kind of get this last little ED, which is just this shot of Hanakawa kind of sleeping on the bed. And yeah, I really don't know what to say. What an intriguing episode. I talked about an episode for like an hour. That's insane. A little bit more than an hour, actually. Yeah, that episode was great. One of my favorites so far. So revelatory, right? But again, our solution seems so obvious. I was just jealous, right? And I was averting my eyes from that fact. Again, I could be completely wrong, but that's what I read into it anyway. The way I understand it is this as our goodbye to Hanakawa for now, right? This next episode may star exclusively Black Hanakawa. But we're going to see tomorrow. Intriguing last episode. Really great. And yeah, so this video will probably be late. It'll probably be at Thursday morning. Again, I'll write the schedule on Discord shortly. But yeah, insane episode. Loved it. And I'll see you for episode 5 shortly, but it'll be like the next day for me. Either way, goodbye for now. Hello, hi, YouTube again. It's the next day. This is the second episode. Let me pop that up here. Just trying to quickly remember what happened in the end of the last episode. She kind of wrote the letter to herself, and I'm assuming that a lot of this from here on out is going to be the kind of meddlesome cat in control, but again, we've talked about how much of that is actually a separation, and how it can potentially not be a separation. Anyway, we'll see where we go here. The episode's up. 26 minutes and 30 seconds on this one, so sync up accordingly. As always, picture-in-picture version. And yeah, we're just going to jump right into Episode 5, the last episode in this arc. Right here. 3, 2, 1, go. Nice to meet you. Oh, we're starting straight with the letter. Yes. Thank you. I see. Yeah, because you're taking the stress. Bone-breaking labor. I'm trying to pick up, the letter seemingly is very formal as well. Mm-hmm. Oh, to try to take out the tiger. Very important lines. Very, very important. Asking for help. Oh, look at this. Yeah, this shit's good. Opening? Yeah. Hey, hooray, I get to talk about that a little bit. Like writing a formal letter to herself asking for help with something. Finally. Like everything's like piling up. Um, very well written, this part of the story so far. Noticeably so. Very rewarding for somebody in my position where I'm talking through things a lot. It's nice when I'm rewarded for that. I guess it's only now just hitting me, but we've had a lot of Hanakawa in a row, haven't we? It makes me wonder about some of the other characters, and, because my perception of Hanakawa has changed a lot over time. And I'm wondering if we'll see similar stuff for the other characters. You would imagine so, right? Sweet. Alright, where are we? Blindingly white. Ooh, this is cool. I love the audio. Ooh, okay. I see. Until you saw the other houses. This is insane. Oh. Oh. Not including you. I was like, where are we going with this? Huh. I wonder if you can see that back in the other episode. Oh god, this whole travel thing again. So bring the history tiger to me. Oh, it's kind of like Senjugahara. We're going to take in the negative emotions back into us. Great. What a great message. I loved it for Senjugahara as well. But that you're not so white. This is an insane sequence, by the way. Like I'm not appreciating the visuals enough. Hmm. I see. Okay. Younger sister. Like a family. What? Think about it. Please do. Alright. I think she agrees. What's wrong with that? Pet cats are part of the family. Really? Well, we need to take it in then. How so? Yeah, do what you're told. It's a weird question. Do cats cry? Oh, interesting meow. Or nya, depending on your opinion there. Hello? What, finishing the letter? Who'd you sign it as? Ooh. Oh, it's a similar shot to before. Okay. Yes. Sobbing away in a... Okay. Oh. Yeah. Ooh. Pure white. I think I know who we're talking about. Again, not a flower guy, so any help there would be appreciated. Like me, like spreading it to other people. Yeah, where we going? Where we going, Tiger? Is that the Senjogahara house? Yeah. It's a real shithole, isn't it? I don't know everything, but everything burns. Great line. Weird chapter. Very short. Ooh, great line again. Let's go home. Yeah, bit of a standoff. No. Are we going to do like a fight? But I'm her, kind of. Means nothing. You just called her your like precious older sister. Very interesting shot. Very high angle. Interesting. Okay. Are we going to fight, or we're just going to talk it out? You burned down that precious cram school. You just burn, no malice behind it. It is. Also true. It seems like you're just, absolving yourself of all responsibility. Do you reckon Senjo even knows, or is it like too late in the night? She's just like sleeping. Oh, okay. Yeah, don't kill Senjo Gahara, that would be bad. Yeah, but she's changing. Give her a chance. People can change, damn it. Yeah, cutting off all the bad, cutting off all the darkness. Yeah? Great. Bit of a change there, isn't there? Great. Good. Please do. Don't be a, like, terrifying person. Oh god, I need to go through that. This is nice, isn't it? Oh, the music too. It's very regal. Fight? Yeah, at least somewhat. Oh, interesting. Energy drain? Energy draining yourself, kind of. Ow, fire hot. Oh, the wild too. Ah! All the themes. Yeah, I asked myself. God. The text. Oh, yeah, right. Senjukahara accepted you at your worst, right? Oh, God. The burns look pretty bad, though. Yep. Great. Take me down to hell. What's our last little trick? What do we have up? What do we have in the bag? I really like how jeering the voice is too. I think it's pretty cool. Yeah. You could try asking for help. Oh! Oh shit, he's here! I had a feeling he might show up. Hello? Also, what is going on? Yeah, is that the heart thingo? Heart span? Oh. I want to see the other side of this so bad. What is happening? What happened to you? You little elf boy. What is happening? It feels like I haven't seen him in ages either. Yeah, he always helps you in the nick of time because he's cool. It's another tiger dead. I'm both. Great. Good. We love it. We stan a character development queen. Oh, you just went home and like read her letter. Okay. Yeah, if you read the letter, wouldn't he be? Yeah. Okay. Like a human, right? Head pat. Look at these two, completely without romantic implication at all. There you go. Pat the cat girl. She deserves it. She's been through a lot. Like a cat. Yay! She said it. Too bad. She's actually over there in that building. Oh, with marriage in mind. No. Yeah. What's the ReZero? I Love Amelia? Isn't that the bag? I forget. Yeah. I mean, you knew the answer. But it's good, feels good to say, doesn't it? Still feels good to say. Yeah, and accepting your envy. It's a little bit self-serving for Araragi, but I digress. Oh, and then the burns heal. Great. Oh, the hair. Hey, yo. I could finally be sad. It's true, the only other... We don't really see Hanakawa sad. Well, we do, but in a different way. Not like this. She hardly ever cries. Give her a cuddle. This feels so finalistic for Hanakawa, though, right? I can't imagine that she's coming back again. Oh, so the hair's gonna stay? Interesting choice. I diet black each morning. That sounds like a lot of work. It seems a lot brighter, though. Less, like, horrific. Hey! Yay! Character development. Woo! This feels good. It's just a feel-good ending. Yeah. It's small and homely. Oh, great. Yeah, great point. It sounds weird, right? This is written well in a completely different way to the other episodes so far. Almost in a plot reveal kind of way. Yay! You don't have to, push yourself into a framework. You could be yourself. What, Tadaima? Something like that? Great. Yay! Yay! That was just feel good. I feel good after that. If I ever need to pick me up, I reckon I'm gonna go back to that episode. Just a good moral, something that I can really believe in. Just gotta be yourself. Take in the good and the bad. She reconciled a bunch of stuff with basically all the characters that she had kind of relations with. But I wanted to discuss this point a little bit more. So, a big part of my criticism of Nekomonogatari Kuro is that it seemed like a lot of setup and a lot of navel gazing and just like way too. It didn't get to the point quick enough. You know what I mean? It didn't combine the kind of heady stuff with a lot of plot momentum. Where this kind of rectifies all of that. This is the payoff for the setup of those, which is nice, right? This ED sounds different again. I don't know why. Yeah, it's just every single kind of weird thing that was kind of just like tangential all came together to form a cohesive whole. Loved it. Felt very finalistic though, very finalistic. And this is very, very much the one I can't read. It'll tell me the next arc, so I cannot do that. But either way, we're going to jump into a little bit of analysis on Nekomonogatari Shiro, Episode 5. That was just lovely, was it not? I thoroughly enjoyed that. It was just nice. It's nice to see such a troubled character, such a character that's in such a dark place, come out on the other side in a way, right? I've always thought Hanakawa was fascinating from the very start, and it turns out that the solution to all of it was very simple in the end, and I think there's some poetry to that as well, right? Your desire to be white, to be pure, to be all things to everybody, to be the perfect little student, to be the perfect little daughter, to be the perfect little everything, right? It results in you cutting off these parts of yourself that are still you, right? Stress, envy, and a bunch of other negative emotions that could have manifested as well. They're all still you, and you need to bring them into yourself and accept them. Again, this is like a kind of larger version of, I guess it's oversimplification, but kind of what Senju had going on in Hitagi Crab. So, in Hitagi Crab, Senju had cut off basically the memories of her mother and the trauma that had to do with the whole situation involving her mother and I guess they were getting extorted? I forget. They got into a bunch of debt, and then there was like some weird cult stuff. I think that's what happened. It was a while ago now. And as a result, Senju got sexually assaulted as well. So, hence, cutting off all these negative emotions, all these memories, right? But again, still that weight, that trauma, all these things, right? They're still you, and they make up the you that exists right now. And taking that stuff away just makes you not whole as a human. And I fully believe this. And this is kind of a visual representation of processing such a trauma, right? So I love the episode from that perspective. That's brilliant. Love it. The other perspective I love it from is plot reveals. Plot reveal, plot reveal, plot reveal. Just everything that they've set up being laid out on the table in a very clear and concise way, saying, hey, this is what we meant. And I'm like, yes, finally. Like some closure to it all. It feels good. I think the best setup and payoff is one that I haven't even talked about yet, and that's Araragi. So this kind of matches up with our whole asking people for help idea as well. So she's asked herself for help. That's a huge step, right? And as a result of that, it doesn't feel as cliched and kind of limiting when Araragi shows up out of nowhere and helps. It just feels like a natural progression for both of the characters. Araragi, a character that will always help without being asked, and Hanakawa, a character that has to ask for help. So we still get the payoff for Araragi, and we get the payoff for Hanakawa because she actually has asked for help. And that little delay apparently was important as well. I wonder if we're going to do some side by sides or that kind of thing, right? You know, this is what was happening in this scene when Araragi was in this scene, and yeah, stuff like that maybe. We had pretty aggressive use of flashing text this episode that I'm going to need to go through and have a look at. The flashing text is Hanakawa's brain. That's how I've been interpreting it anyway. What she's actually thinking versus what she's saying. And there was a lot of it this episode, so we'll need to break it down. There's also, so it's pretty much constant dialogue in this first part, which makes it hard to analyze it visually, especially when there was so much going on. So I'd like to take a closer look at that kind of stuff as well. Either way, the episode is up here. And yeah, I'm going to talk about what I liked and what I didn't like, even though I'm pretty sure there was nothing that I didn't like. Either way, we're going to have a look. So we start our episode at chapter 61, where we're reading the letter that Hanakawa has written to Black Hanakawa, which again is a little bit strange. She starts by thanking the meddlesome cat, or Black Hanakawa, for their bone-breaking labor during Golden Week and before the school festival. I'm imagining that this is Nekomonogatari Kuro and Tsubasa Cat. This is still kind of apologizing to the cat as a separate entity, to the meddlesome cat and not to Black Hanakawa, who the meddlesome cat has kind of turned into. The Black Hanakawa is more Hanakawa based, you know what I mean? It's a creation of Hanakawa's based on another aberration. I love this shot here. So she's grabbing her hair, and then in the light it kind of looks white. It's the first step towards the phenomenon that we see at the end of the episode, which is kind of the tiger stripes in the hair, fully accepting both black and white sides of herself. And the funny part is the parts that she accepts turns into the white on the black hair, talking to the contrast between the two even more. She's still doing this thing where she's rubbing herself all over Araragi's bed, so I mean, hopefully he notices she's doing it a lot. And here's the all-important moment. For the first time ever, I'm asking this of somebody. Please help me. So the general premise is, hey, the tiger's going to burn down Senjugahara's house and potentially Aragi's house later on. So this is bad. We need to stop this. You're going to hurt my friends. This kind of supernatural side of myself, this Black Hanakawa, is going to be the only one that can really save the situation. I can't do it myself. I have to rely on this darker side of myself to, you know, help my friends. So this works both physically as like, hey, she's stronger than me, she can beat the tiger, or at least energy drain it, and as kind of an emotional study as well. Kind of a full acceptance of all sides of herself to kind of help her friends out of a jam. I think that works as well. So this starts this elaborate sequence after the opening where we have the audio is kind of a voice recording, right? It sounds like it's off a tape recorder or something like that, right? There's audio artifacts in it and that kind of thing. You know, it's a bit fuzzy. It sounds like somebody relaying a story to somebody else in that, hey, it's Hanakawa talking to Black Hanakawa. And yeah, we get an elaborate visual sequence to accompany it that I wanted to have a closer look at now. I think it mostly involved Hanakawa kind of traveling around, which is, again, one of her little motifs. So we get the confirmation here. The tiger is a new aberration, hence the book in last episode. It came in the new issue, it wasn't in the old issue, despite being called the History Tiger. History is still a weird name for it. I'd love some explanation there. There was something about flame and hysteria. I don't really get it. But yeah, it's a manifestation of her envy. Her envy of a lot of different things, but mostly, as we find out, her envy of her own parents for sharing a meal together for the first time in ages and not really including her in that. As well as, the accumulation of a bunch of different things, including envy for Senjugahara's relationship with Araragi, as well as the envy for the various homes she visits over this arc. So the visual style here reminds me a lot of the opening as well. Again, geometric shapes, lots of black and whites, that kind of jam. And yeah, just kind of transitions and flows really well from one image to the next. Yeah, here, so we get from this clock straight into, like, kind of the reversal of that mirror of Hanakawa. Yeah, this is a fantastic sequence. Just again, the transitions here, brilliant. So what do we have here? We have Hanakawa looking at Hanakawa on a stage for a graduate certificate award ceremony that she's in attendance of, where she's going to graduate and then travel, right? It's kind of a look into the future. And apparently there's something called activation energy here, which is when that kind of negative feeling reaches a fever pitch and results in the creation of an aberration. The day of the new semester, what I saw when I headed to the dining room for breakfast. So just after Nisei Monogatari would have been the first day of the semester. I'd imagine that's how it's working because Nisei Monogatari is in summer. The ones that I would call father and mother, in inverted commas, already eating their breakfast. In the meantime, she's still simultaneously writing this kind of letter as a student in school. Kind of got the cherry blossoms there. Maybe this is still graduation day, with two kind of darker faced characters in the foreground, boy and girl, discussing something while she's in the back. Again, are we talking? It's obviously not meant to be Senjugahara and Araragi, but it could be a stand in. And here it is, the fact that he and she had been eating the exact same menu for their breakfasts. And this is a first. This is a first in a while, anyway. I was completely jealous of them returning to being a family after all we'd been through. And here's an all-important line, I felt like I would burn up, I was so jealous. Again, I'm imagining this is the very morning that the tiger started to show up. And then that's the reason Hachikuji's there as well, because, of course, it's the old lost snail. She'll show up whenever there's somebody that doesn't want to return home. Of course she doesn't want to return home. She was burningly jealous. Again, it's folded in on itself. It feels good, right? It's plot reveal, plot reveal, plot reveal. I didn't know that Monogatari could do this. And I guess that's my own little biases. I thought I had Monogatari into its own little section, right? It's going to be, hey, it's not always going to work from a plot perspective, but the character stuff and it being artful enough and talking about higher concepts is enough to carry it through. This is the first time that I got engaged from like a dopamine brain feel good from plot reveal sense. Again, good in a completely different way to the other episodes, in my opinion. So she's got a certificate, she's, looking forlorn at the sunset, and she's packing her bags. But now I feel I should no longer do anything of this sort. I shouldn't keep creating these aberrations from the negative feelings. both in the History Tigers case and in your case. I should stop doing this. I should bring everybody home. I'm going to redirect my averted gaze forward. Again, this is another idea that came back. The averted gaze, right? Instead of, looking away from the darker parts of my life, I'm going to stare at them head on and take them on. Brilliant. Love it for Hanakawa. Love it. And here it is. Please come back, return into my heart. As we see kind of the departures here at an airport. Shout out to Brisbane. Shout out to Australia. I get excited whenever there's Australian stuff on these kind of reaction videos. It feels good. Yeah, and she starts going through the negative emotions that she wants to bring back into herself as we kind of get somewhat of a montage of her traveling around. Still in her school uniform, which is a little bit strange, but, it fits the visual style of what we had going on before. I will say it's a little bit weird from a structural point of view. I kind of wish I watched this yesterday, even though I didn't have the time. This feels like the conclusion to a lot of the build-up yesterday, where I kind of just cut myself off right there at the conclusion. These two should really be consumed back to back, in my opinion. Again, at least I only had the 24-hour break. Another interesting idea here as well. Araragi-kun will probably be disappointed that I'm not this perfect, white, pure Hanakawa that he's used to, right? The thing that he aspired to be, but couldn't. I think Araragi may have gone through something similar in the past, where, hey, I was trying to be like Hanakawa, but couldn't. I couldn't maintain it. And maybe his actions during his first part of his high schooling time is a result of that. Again, this is speculation, but seems plausible to me. Because the only value that Araragi sees in me is my pure whiteness, the lack of wildness. It's not true at all, but I digress. She's even in a war zone here, which is kind of crazy. If somebody showed me this screenshot before like the show began, I'd be like, what? What is happening? So we're bringing in another one of our themes, similar to the gaze, we're bringing in the wild, something that Senju Gahara brought up in episode 3. Whatever you are right now, right, your lack of, taste, judgment, and kind of the reveal of negative feelings, even real strong positive feelings as well, it means you're not suited for, a truly wild scenario. I've talked about this, right? It's either a true life or death situation where you would be picked apart because you'd be exploited and all these other awful things, right? But also out in the real world, you have to have opinions, right? Opinions are the basis of most things, right? And if you're going to be all things to everybody, you're going to lose that sense of self-identity. You're not going to have a room that you are able to call your own. You know what I mean? And I can't sell enough how important this was for Hanakawa and how we've built this up really well and how satisfying a solution here is. I love it. Even this, I never ended up telling him I loved him once. And then we get to the end of the episode where that is kind of our climactic moment. Just great plot writing, right? Setup, payoff, setup, payoff, setup, payoff. That's all we want, right? And it all feels earned too. It doesn't feel like it comes out of nowhere. Also, yeah, it's kind of sus that that Araragi then read this letter, so he kind of has spoilers on the whole confession thing, even though he, already knows that Hanakawa loves him. He learned that in Tsubasa Cat. Another important thing here is that we're calling the aberrations younger sisters, Imoto, right? Talking to the idea of family and a family unit. Hanakawa spent a lot of time with Araragi's younger sisters as well. I wonder if this is informing this too. I think an important distinction they bring up later as well is that we're calling them sisters and not daughters. It's kind of less hierarchical, right? I'm not the owner of you as pure white Hanakawa. I do not own you as children, right? You are equals. You are sisters to me, right? You are important aspects into my own personal internal family unit, right? You're not less aspects, you're equal aspects. Just a small little change there, but I think that's important too. And then we get, Black Hanakawa reading the letter. She seemingly is quite happy at it too, which is nice. She kind of disparages the idea of being called family, preferring to be called a pet cat. She wants to be a lesser aspect, wants to just be a house pet, but again, Hanakawa kind of accepting her even more than that. So these aberrations will kind of vanish without a trace eventually, right? But instead of that, instead of waiting it out, Hanakawa's being proactive. Also, it probably has something to do with Senjugaharu's house burning down, but I digress. The cat's kind of being a tsundere here. Well, if you ask me, I'll do something for you, you know, instead of just accepting. Kind of fun. Just by having a home to go back to, why do I feel like I can do anything? Kind of gives the confidence, right? Hanakawa's confident in me, you know, my sister in this family unit. Now I have the strength to tackle this problem head on. Even though the tiger seemingly is very important. Oh god, that scene before as well, when Black Hanakawa first meets the tiger and the tiger follows her around. You saw me. I'm a part of you, right? With Shinobu, right? Shinobu's like, I know of at least 50 tigers walking around. I don't know of yours though. Yours is different. Kind of this big flaming tiger that talks. Again, it's just all clicking, right? It's great. This big long meow was pretty fun too. Just kind of instead of crying. And then yeah, we get the reveal right at the end of the episode that we write, I'm home here, Tadaima, right? Again, talking to this whole family unit inside of Hanakawa deal. The true answer to Hanakawa's kind of question of, can you accept us becoming one whole? Very, very nice. Yeah, cool. We've kind of broken down that first scene there. The rest of it is kind of a conversation with the tiger and a conversation with Araragi. So we'll see how those go as well. So first, the tiger explains its deal a little bit. Kind of remembers being born out of Hanakawa's emotions. Kind of apparent, right? Apparent that later the tiger comes to kind of resent in a way. Interesting. And then there's the deal. I kind of represent all negative emotions instead of just envy, but it's kind of mostly just envy as well. I think I remember a certain scene in the last episode with some cards that may have alluded to this as well. Kind of negative emotions bearing this idea of flame, of fire. Again, fire is a very versatile. It's kind of just strong. If you have a fiery anger, fiery sadness, fiery, passion, all these things. And this was the very moment it was born, right in this field here. I saw my mother, or should I say twin sister instead of mother. Ha ha ha. I remember seeing my twin sister, my beautiful, white, pure twin sister. Something that I could never be. Something that's so separate from myself. Just demonstrates how far Hanakawa has really bought into this whole white, pure idea. I must burn everything down. Within me, anything and everything is to be envied. So we think about the reason why this envy reached a breaking point, right? And that's because of the parents. Kind of seemingly sharing a meal together. It even took just that. Supposedly cooked with the same instruments. And then as a result of that, we get to burning that very house down, the result of these negative feelings that Hanakawa is harboring. And then the negative feelings as well of having nowhere to stay, not being able to ask for help, and needing to burn the kind of cram school down because I was forced here as a last resort. And then, envy of Senjugaharu's house, envy of Araragi's house, right? It all makes sense, is my point. And there's a very important line too. I don't know everything, but everything burns, alluding to the connection between the tiger and Hanakawa. Again, it's somebody that's intrinsically aware of their own limits, and anything that's outside of these limits needs to burn down now, right? And despite these limits, kind of everything needs to burn. Everything burns eventually. That is one constant. Even if I don't know everything, even if there's things that I don't understand, things that I am cutting off, one thing is certain for everything, and it does burn. Intriguing. I'd love to see a little bit more thoughts on that. And then, yeah, Black Hanakawa shows up, and we're going to have a little bit of a standoff. Kind of standing in the way of Senjugaharu's house. Black Hanakawa goes, I'm here to pick you up. Let's go home together. Home back to Hanakawa. Still talking to this metaphorical family unit within herself. I think our colors here are really awesome. I really like how the sky is moving in the background. I think it's a cool visual technique. We get a lot of great shots. There was one that I particularly liked. There was an extreme high angle on the tiger. Again, threatening presence. He has the high ground right now. Is shiningly bright, maybe similar to a Gaia Nezuko as well. Something shiningly bright that you are averting your eyes to, blaming everything but yourself, but it is you. And Hanakawa needs to not avert her eyes and take it all head on. So again, with the concept of this familial unit, Hanakawa being considered the parent initially by the tiger, doesn't she know better than anyone that the concept of natural parents is nonsense? And yes, of course she does, right? It's a big part of why her resentment is building up the way it does, a huge part of why her kind of home situation is so awful. Maybe she is aware of this. Maybe that's why she calls us sisters instead of daughters. She kind of knows how fragile the concept of parenthood is, and guardianship, I guess you'd call it as well. Again, totally in the hierarchical sense. Another similarity to Hanakawa here from the tiger: I'm like an automatic machine. I will not let people's hearts burn for me. You know, this is almost Hanakawa speaking, right? Just in the way that Hanakawa is robotically trying to be so pure, so white, the tiger is robotically burning. That's its job. That's what it's meant to do. Kind of the conflict starts building here a little bit more. I thought I told you, if you caused any harm to my master, then I wouldn't forgive you. The tiger still brushes it off. I don't care about a girl like that, so I have no inkling of intent to harm her. But of course, the justification from Black Hanakawa here is if, Senjugahara was to die, then that would make Hanakawa sad and we're not going to hurt the master. There's kind of some very quick text here. I've just paused a little bit on it here. The subbing's a little bit weird. So jealous she wanted it torched. This emotion to want to burn this flowed from none other than Hanakawa herself. She was so jealous of kind of that Senjugahara household that she wanted it to burn. That is true. Kind of, again, facing this darker side of herself. But the emotions that wanted to suppress that envy were also true. You're ignoring that tiger. Again, two sides. But the result of suppressing that kind of feeling is me. And she has to reap what she sows. That's also true. This is a good debate, I think, right? As if washing everything away, I burn it to the ground. Again, contrast, Hanakawa, makes sense. Black Hanakawa is intrinsically aware here that she's being the weird one. This is something an aberration doesn't normally do, but she's doing it. Again, we can talk to our Terminator metaphor now, right? This is our full kind of Terminator 2 moment. Somebody that was originally antagonistic is now fully the hero. It's funny that we didn't get like a thumbs up going down into the lava or something, some equivalent. That could have been fun. So the cat says, hey, Senjugahara is definitely in there. If you burn it down, she's going to cry. The tiger rebuttals. She won't cry. She will just cut it off again. She will continue to be white and pure. Just like when she was hit by her father. And she kind of just maintained that personality still. Even though deep inside she was burning. Right? She will just create another thing like me. That amount of negative emotion will be cut off and turned into something else. She'll continue being the way that she is right now. And we get kind of flashbacks to all the times that this has happened in the past. This is funny. This is in the library when kind of leaned into kiss. I forget the context there, but that was a funny scene. I'd remember this one too. This is the one I just talked about. And yeah, the tiger says this is how she will live forevermore. Just like this, continuing this kind of feeling. And this one here is the skirt flipping scene that we saw before. Trying to play it up, right? Again, we've talked a lot about this scene. Creating a vast army of monsters, she herself stays white and pure. Still beautiful and pure. So she will create 1,000,000 of us before she changes. But what does Hanakawa do as a result? She says no. No, not me, but I, Hanakawa Tsubasa, deny it. And kind of get a bit of a hair color change there too, which is nice. Or maybe just moving a little bit back into the shadow. And yeah, Hanakawa's in control. Hey, Hanakawa. She was always kind of in control, right? Yeah, she categorically denies it. This is also a representation to the tiger that, hey, I've taken in already one aspect of my negative personality and have full control of it. Why can't I do the same with you? Great moment. Love it. And yeah, it kind of just rebuttals everything that the tiger just said. I won't be pure. I won't love everyone. I won't hate no one. I may be difficult at some points, right? But that's who I choose to be. A human. I will create my own tastes. I will try salad dressing. So brave. Oh god, and then this still goes so quick. I've got it on 1.5 speed. I might need to slow this down. That's right, Araragi would be really disappointed. God, it goes so quick. I'm sure I wouldn't be able to accept his pranks anymore. Then again, I'm sure Araragi being Araragi would be happy for me anyway. He's that sort of person. He just has a good heart. I'm just so jealous. Ha ha ha. Okay. If there's a bunch of those, I don't know if I can pause them all. That took a lot of effort. I look away from reality, making all of you bad guys is crazy. Okay, I think that's what that said. And then, yeah, I want to be real. I want to be human. I've talked about the human condition a bunch of times on this, in this series. I did the things they did to me. You must feel the same. Okay. I don't have to be beautiful. I don't have to be white. I want to become impure with you guys. I won't be able to stay unblemished forever. I don't want to stop being white. I don't want to be as black as sin, but I want to grow up being somewhere in between. And there was a line I missed there, but I'm pretty sure it was just ancillary. I want to be both. You can be both. It's good. It's called being a human. I don't want to live that kind of life anymore. Just being one or the other. Come back, it's curfew, let's eat a meal together. Inviting the tiger, the history tiger, back into the Hanakawa household. And again, I've talked about this before. Monogatari is really good at this, and I think this is one of the most shining examples of it. Taking these larger kind of supernatural things, these otherworldly things, these kind of out there concepts from an anime perspective, and applying them to real world stuff. I think that's where it succeeds the most. Still, the tiger lashes out, and we need to start the energy draining process. So, again, this makes sense on multiple levels that Hanakawa loses this fight. First, we have tigers being superior to cats and the whole kind of animal kingdom thing that we have going on. We also have tigers being better in the wild, and cats maybe being domesticated a little bit. Then we have kind of Black Hanakawa's ability involving touch. It's an energy drain through touching. And what can't you touch? Fire. If you get close to the fire, you get burned. And that's exactly what happens. And when we accept the tiger later on, the burns disappear. Kind of implying that you're defying the very nature of the world, of nature itself, if you continue doing what you're doing. The beast inside of you, it fears fire. Yet you still try to embrace it, even though it burns you. So complex, I love it. You can take it in a million different directions, for sure. Despite it being stupid, despite me getting burned, I know that a cat doesn't stand a chance against a tiger, but I still want to do it. I still do it because my master asked me to. Not like you'd understand. She wants to take care of everything herself. You have no idea how happy it makes me when she needs me. She felt no shame doing so. She called me her own, she made me her family. And she trusted me to deal with you, so I want to repay the favor. And besides, even Black Hanakawa on this level wants to save Senjogahara because of their little meeting before. Again, this is Senjogahara metaphorically accepting Hanakawa, warts and all, you know? She has literally met the manifestation of one of the darker emotions of Hanakawa and shook hands. She wasn't disgusted, she didn't disown Hanakawa as a result. She even gave her some better advice after it all happened. And again, Black Hanakawa wants to repay that favor. Again, the tiger lashes out and throws Hanakawa over towards these train tracks where we continue our conflict. The tiger starts monologuing a little bit. Is that the limit of your so-called gratitude? You're not as strong as me, blah, 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 blah. At this point, the cat is beaten. The tiger is approaching to kind of absorb kind of the Hanakawa we know back down into hell, or whatever they describe. I don't really know what the stakes here are, but sure. The tiger's going to do bad thing. And, you know, Hanakawa was really disappointed. She thought that she was going to, you know, do this all herself, and it was all going to be okay. I fought with my life, but couldn't do much more than delay your arson by 10 seconds. But that 10 seconds is just enough for what happens next. My last words? No, this is just me being a sore loser. The tiger keeps saying it's impossible, reckless, useless what you were doing, right? It was illogical. But she still did it, right? That's the change in Hanakawa. Even in this moment, she's thinking that she couldn't say it. Say that she loved Araragi. I kind of like the burn is kind of a love heart on her chest too. I loved him so much I turned into a monster. Interesting. Interesting with a lot of the Kizumonogatari stuff we talked about. But that's another can of worms. So yeah, she kind of brings up Araragi here, and that ticks off in my mind. Hey, Araragi's probably going to show up. Someone's going to come in and help. That's not true, Hanakawa. A voice breaks through, a voice we haven't heard in quite a while. It is Araragi appearing for the first time in this entire arc. And then, yeah, sword appears from the darkness. I'm pretty sure that this is the same sword that we kind of severed Hanakawa with the first time. Kind of heart span that he hid within his body in Nekomonogatari Kuro. And yeah, kills the tiger. Araragi does the Araragi thing and helps without being asked. It might have been impossible, it might have been reckless, but it wasn't useless at all. If you hadn't risked your life and delayed this tiger by 10 seconds, I wouldn't have made it in time. And there he is, big hero, right up there in the top of the frame. Look at him, he's so cool. He's almost doing like JoJo poses. Look at this guy. Yeah. What happened to you? Can you tell me what happened? That would be ideal. Yeah, he looks like an elf boy. I don't know about all this. And yeah, all of Hanakawa's thoughts are filled with Araragi. My skin burns with pain, but all my pain is forgotten. The burning sensation in my heart is stronger. Again, talking to our whole burning and flame idea from the previous episode. Oh, Tsukihi-chan had the right idea after all. Just looking at him sets me aflame. We've only been apart a few days, but it feels like I haven't seen him in 100 years. Very romantic. Look at all this. You were in a pinch there, there's no way I wouldn't come rush to your side. That's what I do, I'm Araragi. I like how Araragi asks if it's kind of black Hanakawa right now, when in reality we know that it's both. It's all me. It's all me, baby. Warts and all. And finally, after, displaying herself, finally, warts and all, accepting it all, she's able to confess. Here's where Araragi reveals that he read the letter. So if you're going to drain this, you'd best hurry if you're going to bring it back into yourself. You know everything. You know I'll disappear. You know I'll never be the same again. You're fully aware of what's going on when you say that, aren't you? You're fine with it, Araragi-kun? You're fine if I'm no longer myself? This is what she was worrying about in the letter. If Araragi would accept her. Yeah, and then he accepts it, and it's very romantic, and we get this slow zoom while kind of Hanakawa's thoughts internally go wild. If you do bad things, I'll scold you. If you do good things, I'll praise you. I'll treat you like anybody else. You'll be normal. Exactly what Hanakawa wants. When he did that, my heart burned down. Aww, it's very sweet, even though we know it can never happen and will never happen, and that he loves somebody else. But it's still very sweet. And then, yeah, head pats for the boys. There you go. I've always wanted him to gently pat me like this. Great. It's so much different than the climaxes of the other arcs in kind of Araragi's point of view, where it's all very sexual. This one's a little bit more, what's the word? Pure. It's a lot more female gaze. You know what I mean? Not that women aren't horny, of course. They can be horny. But generally in a different way to men. I think it's a very cool little touch, considering the point of view. And then, yeah, she just comes out and says it, straight out. Great. We love this for you. And he's even really flattered. She even goes, can you go out with me with marriage in mind? And I'm like, whoa, aren't you guys like in high school? Just chill. Again, we're doing our Monogatari thing as well. Arc is over in the cold light of day. We're getting our revelatory moments. It's a blue sky as opposed to, I remember noting in Tsubasa Cat that the skies were still grey. And I think that's a nice difference there. And yeah, just internally she's considering all these thoughts. I finally had the courage, I said it, blah 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 blah. And yeah, gets rejected. Too bad. I guess we always knew that was going to happen. Yeah, she's in that house over there. She's even in bed. Has the dad got up to go to work or something? Probably. Yeah, I do love her more than you. I'm sorry. Again, what's the ReZero line? Let me look it up. Yeah, sorry, I love Amelia. It's that simple. Yeah, it's that one. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride, huh? And despite that, despite being rejected, still accepts these kind of envious feelings within herself. I confessed to him and was turned down. I'm heartbroken, but the burns are still healing. I finally get it, an answer. He turned me down, and yeah, we get the hair going on. And similar to Senjogahara again in Hitagi Crab, kind of accepts this aberration and just starts bawling. I can finally be sad. And yeah, begins to cry. Sucks to be you. The hair's kind of mad too. I like that they're not keeping it around. It was probably a little bit much. Some like Cruella de Vil hair. But again, it works as a metaphor, explaining the kind of acceptance of both sides of herself. And yeah, he head pats both sides as well. So head pats Hanakawa before and after taking in the aberration, showing that he won't treat her any differently. And then we get a little epilogue and we're moving on. That's mainly the feeling here that I get. So her cat ears are gone, she doesn't see the history tag anymore, her parents have started renting a new place. There was a small little scene there of her bowing towards the Araragi household as well, thanking them for her stay. It's got these weird silver stripes in my hair, but I dye my hair every day to kind of fix it. Just kind of a weird write-off to ensure that we can keep the same character design going forward. It's too avant-garde to go to school with. I don't know about avant-garde, it's just a little bit loud. The house isn't that big, the one we're staying at, but I'd already stated clearly to the ones that should be called my mother and father. Father, mother, please give me a room. Character progression, yay! She gets a room, yay! Hell yeah. I needed a room, I didn't want the little sisters inside my heart to feel so cramped. Aw, cute. It's probably the first time that she had a key to her own house as well, I think this is the implication, and turning the key just makes it feel like home. This is when we get the revelation that, hey, I didn't want to go home that one time, that's why I saw Hachikuji. Again, makes sense. We can talk about not wanting to go home as going home to her aberrations as well, the Hanakawa household. Speaking of Hachikuji, what the hell happened with Hachikuji? I guess we're going to need to find that out. And yeah, just a lot of epilogue-y stuff. I am me, my future self is also me. Opening the door to her own room. Everyone says it every day like it's natural, but to me those words were something I'd never said in my life. She takes a step into her own room, her kind of hair clip falls off, the little cat. I am home. Kind of like the cat's coming home as well. I like the cat's handwriting too, that's actually cute. Anyway, yeah, and then we jump into ED, right? True. Yeah. So, that was the end of Nekomonogatari Shiro, and it is one of my favorite arcs for very obvious reasons. It is the conclusion. It is the happy ending we all want for Hanakawa. Still somewhat bittersweet, of course. Still everything isn't perfect, but it steps in the right direction, and it's something we really needed for her as a character. And because of the build-up, it's very satisfying. Hanakawa, again, always been one of my personal favorites, and seeing this for me personally, great. It's a resonant message. Feels a lot like Hitagi Crab in a lot of ways, like a larger scale Hitagi Crab, but for Senjogahara, but for Hanakawa, I mean. And yeah, I don't really know what else to say. It was really good. It was good basically from all viewpoints. I didn't even talk about the music, which was also stellar. And yeah, I don't know where we're going next. I really don't. And it looks like through the poll that we're going to do Hana Monogatari after Monogatari Season 2. Unless something drastically changes, the poll is going to stay up, so we'll see. Either way, thank you very much for watching. I know this was a little bit long. I've been recording now for an hour and 15 minutes and really need to get moving and go to work. So thank you for sticking around this long if you did. I really appreciate it. And just going to do my shill stuff one more time. If you like the video, consider liking the video. If you like the video and want to see more, consider subscribing to the channel. Comment below anything you thought about the episode, anything I can do to improve my presentation, comment below. I'm doing follow for follow on Twitter, so follow me on Twitter if you'd like me to follow you back. And the Discord, join the Discord for schedule. This video will be 24 hours late, unfortunately, but it is what it is. And anything else on Discord, talk about the episode, best way to contact me, all those other things. And yeah, just thank you for sticking with the series this long, and I hope to catch you again next week for... Oh, actually, no, not next week. I'm taking a week off next week. But back in the new year, should be more Monogatari, so... thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you later.